Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here at TxRvAdventures. My name is Lauren and behind the camera we have Brittany. Today we're going to go through our Thor 31WV. Today we are going to start on the driver's side of the RV to discuss all of our hookups. The first thing you want to do when you get to your RV campsite is make sure that you engage the parking brake. We will show you where that is on the inside. And go ahead and step on outside and we'll get the power hooked up. This is a 30 amp RV, so please make sure that if you go to a campsite that you do have the correct breakers at your campsite. If you need an adapter, we do provide some. Just let us know at your pickup. On this side, this is our 30 amp plug-in for the campsite. You're going to unravel this and make sure that whenever you plug in, the breaker is in the off position before you plug in. That is very important to remember, or you may trip something. So this side goes into your campsite. It has 3 prongs. And then on the other side, we do have a twist lock right here. And it is going to go right into this little corner. Just plug in, twist it, and you'll be locked in. Once you have your power cable connected, you are going to then turn on your breaker at your campsite, and you will have flowing power into the RV at all times. Please make sure that whenever you do plug in, go inside, check the microwave, and once it is on, that is how you know you have power. The next thing that we're going to go over is our water hookup. So we have this freshwater hose right here, and on one end it has a 90 angle that goes directly into the RV. And on the other side, we do have a water pressure regulator that goes into the campsite water hookup. This regulator is to help decrease the high pressure at your campsite. And we're going to go right here. Now it's a little butterfly or flower looking thing, and you're going to plug in your 90 angle right into here. And then you're going to hook up the pressure regulator to the water, campsite water. Once you have that all hooked up, you will have flowing water into the RV at all times. You'll know you're hooked up and have flowing water when you go inside. You can turn on a sink faucet and make sure you have that running water. This will allow you to turn on your sinks, flush the toilet, or take showers at any time. Now we do have a water fill up. It is just not on this side, it's on the driver's side, and we will show you how to hook up over there, and we'll go over the water tank on the passenger side. Now the next thing that we have is our sewer, the fun part. You're going to go to this storage compartment. It is directly behind the driver rear tires. And you are going to access your sewer. And one of the storage compartments that are going to be further up on the RV, you are going to have this sewer hose. Now this side has a gasket on the inside to secure a tight connection. And you do have 4 hooks around the sewer hose that are going to go on these little nubs right here. Now there is a sewer cap cover on the sewer connection right now to prevent anything from leaking out while driving down the road. You then have a gray handle and a black handle. So your gray handle is for your gray tank, which is your shower and your sink water, and your black handle is for your toilet water. The most important thing to remember about these is please do not open them at the same time. Make sure to do them one at a time. So how you're going to hook this one up, and my trick for this specific RV is I will put the door on my knee and I will just reach all the way under and slide it into the hole and twist it to make sure it is locked on. Once you are locked in place with the hooks over here, you are then going to take the other side of the hose, which looks like this, and you're going to put it into the sewer connection at your campsite. It is going to be a little PVC hole in the ground, basically. You're going to stick right into there, and you will be fully hooked up. Once you are hooked up, you are then going to come over to your gray tank handle, and you will be able to pull it out. Now, if you're at a campsite, you can leave your gray tank open. This will prevent any water from coming out of your shower or your sinks if your tank is full. Once you have this open, you can go about your business as you please, but please make sure that you check the sensors on the inside for your black tank. Once your black tank is showing full, go ahead and come back outside, push this handle in to close it, and then you're going to go ahead and open this black tank to let everything out. Now, it is important to make sure that you are close to full whenever you dump your black tank, so that way you have enough pressure to get all of the toilet paper and anything that is in the black tank fully out and through the hose. Now, a good tip whenever you are on your last night at your campsite, go ahead and make sure both of your black and your gray handles are closed. Once you have both of them closed, go about your business, take your last showers, use the restroom for the last time at night. And then in the morning before you leave, go ahead and open this black handle. So that way you can re-dump everything out of your black tank. And then after that, make sure you close this and then go ahead and open your gray tank. Once you open your gray tank, it will flush out the hose and make sure nothing is left in the hose, so that way you don't have anything left over in your storage compartment. Okay? Now, we're going to go over your generator. Your generator is a gas generator. It has a shared fuel tank with your engine. Your engine has a 55-gallon tank size, so just be aware that if you're driving down the road and you have your generator on, you will use a little bit more gas than if you were to just be driving. Just keep an eye on that. You don't want to get below a quarter tank of gas when you're running your generator. Here we have the inside of our generator. Now, we do have a couple of key factors on the inside of this generator to remember. Starting with over here, we do have our altitude adjuster. Now, we here in Houston are at closer to sea level, so we don't need to adjust the altitude to anything higher. But if you go to New Mexico or Colorado with higher elevations, just go ahead and twist this up, and this will allow more fuel to go through the generator, so that way your generator will function properly. Over here, we do have our dipstick. It is important to check this every so often, especially if you are boondocking or dry camping. Now, backwards. Right here, we have our full level right here, and then our add level right here. So if you're on the add, go ahead and add just a little bit of generator oil into this spot right here. We do have extra generator oil on board in one of the storages. Now, it is important to remember to check your generator oil, because if you don't have enough, the generator will not function properly. And in the hotter months, you do burn through a little bit more than if it was in a colder month. So just make sure to check that. We say generally every 10 hours or so. The next thing that we have is our start and stop. You do have a start and stop on the inside as well, but this is also a way to detect any faults. And then right in this corner, we do have a little breaker switch. If you have the generator running, but you notice that you don't have any power to, say, your microwave, go ahead and come out here and check that breaker and make sure that it is flipped in the on position. The most important thing to remember is that you are level on the RV at all times. This goes for multiple things on the RV, but especially for the generator, you want to make sure you're level. If you're not, then you may not be able to have the oil and the gas flowing through the lines properly. Now this green cover, thank you. This green cover has to go on and stay on at all times when the generator is running, even in the hotter months. That way, the hot air outtake does not go into the intake and cause your carbon monoxide detector to go off. And then right in the corner, we do also have our generator exhaust pipe. That is where your exhaust is going to come out. And the important thing to remember about that is you do not want the wind to be blowing into the pipe, as that can cause your exhaust to back up inside. So if you do notice that that wind is going in, just go ahead and turn off the generator and turn around the RV so you're facing away from the wind. Make sure it is also cooled off before you check the generator. It does get very, very hot. So to save yourself from any burns, go ahead and let it cool off for about 30 minutes before you check that oil, okay? Next, we have some of our storages. And in this storage in particular, we do have our extra generator oil, so that way you can top it off if need be. In our next storage compartment, it is a little bit bigger, and we will have some of our connections in here, such as your water hose. So y'all can use this for a lot of things. You can put your barbecue grill in here. You can put a case of water in here. A good amount of things will fit in these storages. And directly above those two storages, we do have our hot water heater maintenance panel. Hopefully you don't need to be in that. It's just for maintenance. Over here, we do have our furnace maintenance panel. If you're running the furnace, be careful of this silver part. It does get very hot after it's running for a while. Over here, we have a little outside shower just to be able to hose your feet off or any of your belongings off before you put it in the storage. And over here is one last storage on the driver's side. Again, this is your power hookup, and right above it we have our coax cable, which, there we go. This is your coax cable. Now, we do have an antenna on the roof of the RV, but if you want to bring a coax cable to hook up to your campsite cable, you are more than welcome to do that. We do suggest about a 20-foot coax cable. Now onto the back side. Over here, we do have a couple of different things, starting off with your backup camera at the very top. These are great if you're towing a vehicle behind, or you even have a bike rack. You'll be able to watch your vehicle and your bike rack while you're driving, as well as it is very helpful whenever you are parking into your campsite. Now down here, we do have our tow hitch. It is a standard size. You are more than welcome to tow. We do have a towing fee, and we also do allow bike racks, but if you have your own bike rack, you can use yours, or we do have some for rent as well. Now, as far as the towing capacity goes, it is 8,000 pounds, and we do not provide any of the towing equipment. So if you have to rent a dolly, there are U-Hauls around here who do rent dollies. Just please make sure and verify with someone at pickup that your vehicle and trailer are below 8,000 pounds. Over here, we do have a ladder. This is generally just for maintenance on the roof. The only things up there are your ACs and little vents. Please do not climb up on the ladder and onto the roof. It does get very slippery up there, especially if it rained or if you've had your ACs on for a while. The ACs do produce condensation, so there will be some water on the roof that can drip off. Okay? Now, below the RV, we do have two stabilizing jacks. These are not leveling jacks, they are just stability jacks. That is very important to remember. These specific jacks are motorized. We do have a button on the inside, and we will show you how to work the jacks. In other models, you just have 2 buttons. This one, we specifically just have 1 button, and they'll automatically go down. Okay? Now, if you notice, this RV is pretty tall. I am 5'5", for example, and there's no way that I am touching that roof. This is a 12-foot tall motorhome, and we do generally suggest to give yourself about an extra foot just for any room, especially going under bridges. Now that 12-foot does include the ACs on the roof. The next important thing to remember about this height is trees, especially in residential roads, your neighborhood. There are a lot of trees, so you want to make sure that you swing wide and you're really careful around those trees. Tree scratches do generally occur at the very top of the RV. And we also do have our awning over here. Now this big, beautiful awning will provide shade for you and your family if you're having barbecue, playing games outside. It is a great way to shade yourself, but you have to make sure that if you are in the RV, not with the RV, if it's windy or rainy, you do retract it, because these do not have wind sensors and they can fly off, and it is not a fun experience. We do also have this beautiful light strip up here. Now this is available to turn on even when the awning is not slid out. So if you need a little extra exterior light at night, you can go ahead and turn that on. Okay? Now, we're going to go over to this big storage right here. This is the biggest storage on the RV. Now in here we usually store our camping chairs. We do provide those, as well as in this corner we do have little jack pads to make sure that your jacks do not sink into the ground. You can store quite a lot of things in here. You can use it for luggage, you can use it for barbecue grills, you can use it for cases of water, anything that you may need. A lot of stuff fits in here. Now right up here we do have our freshwater fill tank. All you have to do is grab that whitewater hose and unscrew that cap. You're going to make sure you can reach your water hookup at your campsite, and just stick one side of the hose into that hole and fill it on up. Now we do have a sensor inside that will show full whenever it is actually at its full level, but what happens when it's full on the outside?
So when you are hooked up with the water into the hole and this tank is full of 40 gallons, it's going to overflow and shoot out at you.
And that is totally fine. If water comes out of the RV, it's not going to hurt anything. Just go ahead and take your hose out, twist this cap back on, and put away your water hose. Now, this water tank will also allow you to use the restroom while in motion, and we will go over that water pump on the inside. Right down here, we have our gas tank. It is regular gas only. Please do not put diesel in this tank. And then right down here, we do have an exterior propane connection. If you have a barbecue grill that has that type of connection, we do provide barbecue grills, but they do come with their own propane tanks.
Hey Lauren, how big is this fuel capacity on this tank?
This has a 40-pound propane tank capacity.
And your fuel?
And this fuel also has a 55-gallon tank.
Yeah, big tank, everybody. So that's a lot of driving.
Yes, a lot. Right down here, we have another little storage compartment. Now, if y'all have noticed, there are lights in these storage compartments. Please make sure if you are not using the lights, or if you're in travel for a few days, go ahead and turn those lights off just so you don't burn out your bulbs, okay? Now, right up here is just the backside of your fridge. It's just for maintenance. You don't need to go in there. Right below it, we do have exterior outlets. These are GFCI protected, so please make sure that no water is getting splashed into these outlets, okay? Now, right below is your propane tank. And if you notice, there are no locks, they're just 2 latches. This is for easy finding of your propane tank. And inside is our propane tank. Right over here is the truest read for your propane tank. It'll be your gauge. And right over here is our knob to turn on and off the propane. Now we do generally keep the propane tank on, which means it's all the way to the left. That way you can have your fridge stay cold, you can use your stove top whenever you may need it, or if you even need to turn on your furnace or hot water heater. Now, the biggest thing to remember about this propane tank is, I mentioned it over by the generator, please make sure this RV is level. If your driveway is at a slant, go ahead and park on the street so that way your propane tank does not shut off from not being level. Now, there are plenty of places where you can go to get this propane tank filled up. A lot of truck stops, U-Hauls, they all can fill up your propane tanks. Now, you yourself will not fill it up. A licensed professional will fill it up, so you don't need to worry about that part. And over here, we have two little storage guys. Alrighty. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about is all the way up at the front. We do have an easy tag for these RVs. So if you are in the state of Texas and you need to get on the Beltway, or if you need to go on 99 Hardy Toll Road, you're more than welcome to get on them. The fees are not going to apply to you. But if you go out of state, just make sure you go through and pay those tolls, say in Florida. Okay? Next thing that we have are our tires. Now our tires do have what are called tire pressure monitor systems on it. They do have little nubs. Let's see if I can find one. They have little black nubs on the tires so that way you can have in-time readings of your tire pressures. Now the most important thing to remember is these tires are big truck tires. They are built to be able to expand and contract. So in the colder weather, they will constrict a bit. In the hotter weather, they will expand. Alrighty, now let's take a look at the inside. Now we're going to look at our main control panel. Right up here, we have our generator hours and our start and stop switch. This screen will display how many hours are currently on the generator, and we will take a look at this number before you leave, as well as when you return, to record the amount of hours used on the RV during your trip. Whenever you want to start and stop your generator, you're going to press and hold stop for approximately 30 seconds. This will prime your generator and make sure your gas and your oil is flowing through your generator properly. After 30 seconds, you're going to press and hold firmly in the start position until you hear your generator kick over. Once the generator is turned on, it'll take about a minute for you to get actual power to your RV. You will know you will have power when you have power to your microwave. Once you have power to your microwave, you can then turn on your air conditioning or plug into any of the outlets if you wish. The biggest thing to remember about your generator is make sure your appliances, such as your air conditioning unit, are in the off position or everything is unplugged before you start and stop your generator to prevent anything from tripping. Next, we have our sensors right over here. We're going to have a sensor for different tanks, such as our LPG, which is liquid propane gas. You're going to press and hold the little nub right above the letters, and you will see a number of lights above your empty, 1/3, 2/3, and full. You then have your battery. You have fresh, which again will be in the full position whenever you pick up. Then you have your black tank and your gray tank. Again, these are your waste tanks. So your black tank is on empty, which is your toilet, and your gray is on empty, which is your shower and sink. Now, whenever this black tank sensor is showing full, that's when you want to go ahead and go outside and make sure you dump the black tank, so that way you have enough pressure to get everything out of your tank system. This gray should generally stay in the empty to 1/3 region if you are continuously opened on the gray tank side while you're hooked up. Now we have our slide out, extend, and retract. In the 2022 models, the engine needs to be on as well as the parking brake be engaged. In the 21 model, the engine does not need to be on to slide out. All you have to do is press and hold in the position you want to go. So extend, press and hold at the top. You will fully extend and stop when the slide out has fully gone out. To retract, go ahead and press that bottom. They will fully stop again whenever you are fully extended or retracted. Next, we have our tank heaters. These are generally only needed for freezing weather. So if you're going to go somewhere where you know it's going to be colder and you don't want your sewer tanks to freeze, you can go ahead and turn those on overnight or during the freezing period. Next, we have our water pump. Our water pump is for use when you are not connected to your city water. When your water pump is on, you will see a little red light up here next to PMP. That means that your water pump is on. It will pull water from that freshwater holding tank that we showed outside. Just make sure that you do have fresh water in your tank before you use your water pump so you don't run it dry. You then also have your two different water heaters. One is your propane water heater and one is your electric water heater. If you're going to a campsite with electricity, you can go ahead and just flip that on whenever you're hooked up and leave it on the whole time that you are out there, okay? Whenever you do turn on your water heaters, just keep in mind that it does take about 20 minutes to fully heat up before you get that hot water, okay? Right down here is a power control system. This will just make sure that the appropriate amount of power or amperage is going to, this specifically says your generator, so you want to make sure it stays on 30 amps. Right down here we have our air conditioning unit. Now we do have another one of these in the master bedroom. In our 21 model, it does look a little differently, but it is still in the same area of your control panel. All you have to do to work this control panel, you're going to press your power, and then you can set it to whatever fan speed you want, your setting, and this will change your temperature. Okay. Next, we're going to look at the switches down below. So right over here is our jack system. This is just one simple button. Again, it has a retract and an extend. Just make sure that before you try and work the jacks that you are in the on position and not the off. And make sure that you are fully hooked up on the exterior and you are not slid out before you work these. You have to be slid in fully before you work your jacks. Just press retract or extend, whichever direction you are wanting to go, and the jacks will automatically go that direction. You then have two switches over here. You have another switch that is dual-sided. This is for your awning. One side goes out, one side goes in. Please make sure that the awning rolls underneath itself instead of on top, so that way any leaves or pine needles fall off. We then have a little light, step light, which is an exterior light that goes right underneath your entry steps, so that way you can see in the dark. You then have different light switches. One is for your awning, one is for your main living, and one is for your step lights down here, as well as over in the hallway. Okay, this is your main battery disconnect. This should always stay in the on position. If this gets flipped off, then you lose your power on the inside to your house batteries. This is going to show you your house battery voltage. You want to make sure you're between 12 and 14 volts at all time. If you dip below that, then you will start to see the lights going in and out, and you will see your awning or your slide outs will have trouble. Now, Miss Brittany is going to show you where your house battery is located. It is right underneath this top step. And again, it controls everything in the back of the motorhome behind the cabs, such as your lights, your awning, and your slide outs. This battery does also charge a few different ways. It charges while you're driving, you have your generator running, or you are plugged in. Next, we're going to talk about our safety features. We have a fire extinguisher right next to your entry door. And above the stairs, we do have a smoke detector on the ceiling, as well as a carbon monoxide detector and at the bottom of your dinette, right down there. Next, we're going to discuss our kitchen. We do fully stock the kitchen with all of the necessary cooking items you may need. We have plates, bowls, cups, mugs, pots, pans. If you can name it, we probably have it. Including down here, we have a coffee maker and some cleaning items. And then right over here, we have some of our cooking utensils. Now over here, we have our microwave, our stovetop, and our oven. Our microwave is a standard microwave. Make sure that you have power whenever you turn on your generator by checking your microwave to see if it works. Down below, we have our stovetop. This is a propane burning stovetop. And then you have your sparker here and your igniters for your stovetop and your igniter for your oven. We do also have some lights. This top one is just lights around your knobs, and the bottom one includes an oven light. What you do when you want to turn it on, press this in and twist until you see the flame. And then you're going to turn your sparker. Once you get that flame, you are good to go. Again, twist to the flame, spark, and set your temperature. Okay? Just make sure that if you refill your propane on your trip, that you come back inside and you turn on your stovetop burners for just a couple of seconds. That way you can get the air burned out of the line and you don't have any air bubbles. Down here we have our oven, and it works the same way as the stovetop. So you're going to push this knob, twist to the flame, and then you are going to spark until you see the flame. There we go. And then just set your temperature. Now, keep in mind, this is a smaller oven, so you may have to adjust your cooking times just a little bit so that way you don't burn any of your food. Okay? Make sure this glass cover is down while in travel as well. Next, we have our fridge. This fridge is an automatic fridge, so it will know when to run off of propane as well as when to run off of electricity. This fridge does cool from the top down, and also please do not overstuff your fridge. It will lose some of the temperature and it will get a little too warm. Now, if this fridge does defrost, it takes approximately 8 hours to fully defrost back down. And again, please make sure you are on level ground so your fridge does not turn off. So if your driveway is at a slope, go ahead and park on the street where you're going to be flat, okay? We do have lots of storage throughout the kitchen, including a little pantry section right over here. Next, we have our breaker box. This breaker box is located underneath the master bed, and it will have your breakers for all of your main appliances, your AC, your microwave, GFCI, as well as we have some fuses right over here. Now, if you lose any power in your RV, go ahead and check this breaker box, make sure nothing is tripped, and then also double check your campsite breaker to make sure your campsite end has not tripped. But this generally will help bring any lost power back in, okay? Next, we have our bedroom. We do store all of our extra linens in the bedroom for all of the extra beds. And all of our extra linens are going to be right up here. Now, this little box does contain the sheets, the blanket, or the sheets, and your pillowcases, as well as we have a comforter and some blankets on the other side. We have quite a few plugins right over here. We have regular household USB and cigarette adapters, usually used for CPAP machines. This is our second AC machine, or AC control panel. Works the same way as the one up front. And of course, we do have light switches. Now, for your blinds, for privacy, all you have to do is pull them down and then push them back up. Now, they are a little tight. That is normal. Just give it a little tug, okay? Right in here, we do have an extra closet space, and right over in that corner, we do have the ladder for the over cab bed up in the front. We have an entire wardrobe area in the hallway. This can be used for storing food or clothes. The only thing we do ask is make sure that you don't store any hard luggage inside of these to prevent any scratches. Right over here, we also have a blind for privacy. It goes all the way across, and it'll just connect right here to your nub on the wall. Okay, next we have the bathroom. So the shower in this bathroom is a corner bath, or is a corner shower. And again, for reference, I am 5'5". This is a very roomy shower. You do have a skylight up top, so if you're a little bit taller, you do have that extra headspace. And in here, on my other side, we have our shower head. Now, once you get your temperature right over here, you then have this button right below the head of the shower. Now, this button will stop the flow of water coming from the shower head. So to preserve some water, go ahead and get your temperature set, get your hair wet, press the button to stop the water, lather up, turn it back on to rinse off, okay? Over here, we do have our vanity. We do have RV safe toilet paper already in store for you, but if you do run out, please do not use wet wipes. If you do bring wet wipes, we do have a trash can. They do not go down the toilet. Most important, it will clog your toilet, okay? As far as your toilet goes, you do have a pedal right down here to flush. You're going to go ahead and push all the way down to flush, and you want to make sure you stay holding that pedal for approximately 10 seconds to make sure everything goes down. If you need to fill the toilet bowl up with any more water, just lightly press until you get the desired amount of water in there, okay? The biggest thing to remember about the toilet is, please, again, make sure you do not flush any wipes down the drain. It will cause a clog. And also, the a good tip is whenever you are about to leave, go ahead and press that pedal down, let it fill up for about a minute, and put a little bit of Dawn dish soap in the toilet while you're driving. It'll kind of self-clean clean the tank. Over here, we have our GFCI reset. So if any of your outlets seem to not be working, go ahead and check this outlet. There will be an orange light if it is tripped. You just press this middle button, okay? We have our light switch over here, as well as a fan for the bathroom. Now this black knob does open the vent on the roof. Just please make sure that the vent is closed while in travel. We do not want any vents open. Over here, we have a little bit of storage space. We do store our bath towels in here, and you have plenty of room lower for any of your toiletries. The big important rule to remember, and this applies for anywhere in the RV, make sure that you close and you latch every single door. If it just goes like this, it's not fully latched. You have to push down so you hear that click, okay? Next, we have how to control the flow of the AC. So this little switch right here will open and close these little slats right here. If you want fast cooling, powerful AC, you're going to go ahead and open that. It gets really cool. And if you want to push the AC to the vents throughout the RV, you're just going to go ahead and keep that closed. Now we do have a filter right up here, so please just make sure, especially if you're in a dusty area such as Big Bend, to go ahead and slide this out and pull the filter out, get it damp with some water, clean it off, and then just pat it dry. We want to make sure this filter stays clean for the most effective cooling of the AC, okay? Next, we have our living room. So we have good amount of storage. We have 2 drawers underneath these dinettes, as well as we have storage underneath this couch that also turns into a bed. Now, as you see, we do have anchored seat belts. The couch does have 3 seat belts, and the dinette have 1 each on the sides. This is a jackknife bed, so all you do is keep pulling that bed out and you will then have your full-size bed right over here, okay? Okay. Now for your dinette table that converts into a bed, you have a latch directly underneath that you just want to make sure is fully unlocked. Looks like we were already unlocked today. And then you're just going to push it down. Before you push it all the way down, you do want to move these cushions so that way this tabletop becomes flush with the trim underneath the dinette. And then you're going to take the backing of the dinettes and set them on top of your tabletop for your full bed as well. Just please make sure that you do lock your dinette back in place when you are ready to use it as a table again. Okay? We have our queen size bed right up here. Again, those stairs that were in the closet in the back do go and hook right here. Next, what everyone really wants to know about, the TV. So, whenever you are at your campsite, want to make sure that you have power. So that's either using the generator or being plugged in. You then will be able to search for your channels. You're going to press your menu button on your remote, and then this will pop up. Make sure you're in TV and not any of the HDMIs. You're going to go right over to the channels option. You're going to go to auto channel search, and then this will pop up. Make sure you are searching antenna if you're not connected to your coax cable. That is very important. So once you do that, it'll start searching. It'll take approximately 2 to 10 minutes to fully search for your channels. So while that is scanning, we're going to go ahead and talk about Wi-Fi. You do have a hotspot that is connected to the OBD2 port of the RV, in turn connected to the battery, which means the Wi-Fi is on only while in motion. Please, 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 whenever you get to your campsite, go ahead and connect to that campsite Wi-Fi. Right up here, I'm going to show you a couple of different things. There is a little button right here that you are going to press and make sure that there's no green light if you want to be connected to cable. If you're going to stay connected to your antenna, you want that little green light that's right up there to stay on. Then we have a matrix box, so that way if you bring a PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, or anything using an HDMI cable, you can connect right up here, okay? Now, as you see, we've only been searching for a couple of minutes and we have already found 82 channels. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off just because we do not need it on anymore. And then we are going to discuss our front cab. So the front cab does have a privacy curtain that's going to go on these little black Velcro pieces. You have a strip of Velcro right at the top of the fabric, so that way you can give yourself privacy while you're at your campsite. This is really helpful for anyone who's going to be up here especially, so that way no one is looking in at night. Okay. This does also pop up if you do need a little extra headspace while you're in the cab. You can go ahead and just push this back. But if you don't want to, a lot of people use this as storage while you are in travel. Okay. We're going to go over our radio. We have a couple of different functions for our radio. You have your power button. Please make sure that you turn your radio off when you are not using it, so that way you don't drain your batteries. You can then go to your home. You have your Bluetooth phone and music, so that way you have hands-free calling while you're driving. We also have our radio and, oh. There we go. And our rear camera. Now this rear camera does stay on while you're in travel, so that way you can keep an eye on your towing or just your surroundings. Whenever you want to get out of it, just tap the screen. Now, if your radio does seem to freeze up on you, doesn't seem to be working, there is a little tiny button right here that you can take the tip of a pin and press in for about 5 to 10 seconds. That is your reset button. After you press and hold it, go ahead and go through the powering on of your radio and it should be back to normal. We then have all of our AC controls for your dash. This is not connected to the dash or to the AC in the rear, two very separate things. Next, we have our hazards, very important to remember where they are. And then of course we have outlets for charging. Right up here, we do have the tire pressure monitor system. This will tell you your tire pressures while you're in motion. Now, we haven't been driving today, so we don't have all of the numbers reading, but while you're driving, all of the numbers will appear. The tire pressure for each of these tires on this RV are listed on the inside of your driver door. And if you're in the hot summers, be aware your tires will expand. That is totally normal. Just keep an eye on it. If it gets a little too high, we're going to go ahead and have you rest and make sure the tires cool down. If the alarm does sound, there is a set button right on the back. You can just press that and it'll mute the alarm. And as well as if it is too cold, they will shrink a little bit, so they will go down in pressure. Just again, keep an eye on those tire pressures, okay? Now the pressure system will be either up here or resting down below. We then have a couple of different things up front. We have our light switches over here for your headlights, high beams, as well as your running lights. We then also have down here our parking brake. Your parking brake is right in this corner, and whenever you want to release it, there is a lever right over here. Just make sure you pull this, okay? This is that gray box that we were mentioning that controls your Wi-Fi. And then you have your cruise control and your menu settings right over here. Alrighty. So that concludes our instructional video today for our Thor 31WV. Now the real question is, Brittany, what is your favorite thing about this RV?
Oh, it's my favorite part of the tour. Okay, so my favorite part of this RV has to be storage. It has to. This is great. I've seen tons of people take 2-week trips with this specific floor plan, and they just can't say enough about how much storage, and also get a load of the pantry. Y'all, this is big. So you've got pantry here just outside the kitchen, and that is crucial because you got a lot of people traveling with you, a lot of food, a lot of luggage. So I like that a lot. Lauren, what's your favorite?
I can't agree with you more about the storage, but my favorite thing, honestly, is how open this really is. You have your master bedroom all the way in the back, and you have privacy. And then if you have, 2 kids or another couple with you, they're on the other side of the RV. Y'all are completely separated, and it just feels a lot more comfortable. It's a very homey RV.
Yeah, 31 feet is no joke. It's a lot of space for
yes,
sure.
Absolutely. So. All right. Thank you for coming with us on our tour at TxRvAdventures.